Hey everybody, let me know if you can hear me okay. I just got in the mail two very chunky books that I'm pretty excited about. Let's go ahead and turn on this camera. You guys let me know if you can hear me okay. Is this reverse? No, it's just start. Okay, here we go. Shadow of the Weird Wizard by Robert J. Schwab. So I don't know much about this at all. I know that Rob Schwab is talked about in the industry a lot. And he's supposed to be a very prolific. You can hear us? All right. You can hear me. Edward, hey, Terry, Critical Pixel. Good to see you guys. So I know that Rob Schwab. Ooh, it's a little bit dark. There we go. Maybe that'll help. So I know that he is supposed to be like a very prolific author. Like he writes a lot. I think this is like the fantasy version of Shadow of the Demon Lord. Yeah, I think that's what this is. So this is like basically the first time I'm opening it. I just got it in the mail today, like minutes ago. So I wanted to do a quick little I don't know how quick it is. I always say it's quick, but I don't know if it's going to be quick or not. I want to do a just a sort of a read through of it. So there's this one. This is Shadow of the Weird Wizard, and then there is Mike Shea talked about it on his show. Okay, cool. I guess maybe he got his copy too. And then this one is Secrets of the Weird Wizard. Some pretty cool art. Let's see who's the artist on this. Oops, sorry for the bonk. Art direction, cover design and layout. Kara Hamilton. Oh, cover illustrator, Jack Kaiser. All right, Jack. This looks like it might have been, this might be like hand painted, like in physical medium. I'm not sure. It sort of has that feel. Maybe it isn't, but it definitely has like the old school type of feel. So I don't know what this book is. That I assume that this is sort of. I think this might be the like the GM guide type of thing, or maybe like there's the adventure in here, and then this one is the player facing like core rules and that kind of thing. But this is like a chunky, thick book. So I've got the core rules of Nimble down to I've always got mouse rotor on my desk. I've got the core rules of Nimble. It's not in that one. Nimble down to what I think is going to be the close to the final page count. I've actually been able to eliminate quite a few pages. We'll go over that in a little bit. But I think the core rules for Nimble is going to be, so just by way of comparison, so Mouse Ritter, like this is an A5 sized book, this one. So this is the size that Nimble's going to be. But it is diminutive compared to some of these other books. I'm sure there's a lot more in here, obviously. So, but just so you know, Shadow of the Demon Lord was really ahead of the RPG renaissance. Weird Wizard is an updated rule set that falls a bit more into generic fantasy rather than grimdark fantasy of Shadow of the Demon Lord. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can get the chat here on screen. Let me see if I can get the chat here. Copy. Does that work? Paste reference? Hey! All right. I didn't know I could do that. That's pretty cool. All right, so now we got chat on screen, and we can scooch this over a little bit. There we go. So now I can see what you guys are saying while I'm reading this. That's pretty cool. Well, make my little noggin a little bit bigger. There we go. So yeah, so this is apparently, so I've heard like really good things about it. I've heard that Rob Schwab is a fantastic author, and he like, as far as ideas go, he's got some spicy ideas. But from what I know, Shadow of the Demon Lord was like not for everybody. Like it was like not everybody. It went pretty metal. We'll just say that. Sean Hammer, hey Bruno, good to see you. Paul Bigby. Cool. Glad you guys could make it a hangout. So we've got all the thanks and all of that. Let's see. The cover illustrator for this one is Matteo Spirito. Matteo Spirito. Sounds Greek, maybe. Spirito? But pretty cool art. I don't know that it's my style in particular, but like I love this goblin down here in particular. Like that guy is cool. It's pretty sweet. I mean, it's pretty sweet. I played a little Shadow of the Demon Lord. It was a cool idea. Really liked the progression. Okay. Well, let's see what this has. So we've got introduction, forward, the weird wizard, 10 true things that. So this sounds very much like a Mike Shea thing, like the truths of the land. Familiar but different, magic is real, developing technology, gods exist, mortal reincarnation, the ancient ones asleep. I like that. That's pretty sweet. The first peoples, fallen empires, the weird wizard's shadow, and a time for heroes. Okay, so we're sort of setting the scene. So we have introduction, we have creating a character, the game rules. Oh, interesting. So that's something that I've been thinking about for Nimble. What order should things go in? Like, do we talk about stats and this thing and that thing? And so he starts off with level, ancestry, professions, equipment. So he starts off like right away talking about the characters, and then he gets into down here attributes, strength, agility, so all of that. So we'll read through it and see how it we'll see how it flows. So creating character, game rules. So character creation is like 20 pages or so. So it'd be like 40 pages of A5 size. Then we have game rules that it's from page 26 to where is it? 26 to 54. Okay, so not a whole lot of not super rules heavy, I guess. Magic, ooh, aeromancy, alchemy, alteration, animism, astromancy, chaos. Okay, so I like what I'm seeing. Some cool ideas that we have. Then we have expert paths. I guess that's like more class related things. I'm not sure. So let's last thing down here is the character sheet. We're actually let's jump to the back. You can learn a lot about a system from the character sheet. Okay, so this is interesting. Is this that's the entire character? Okay, so we've got a 2-page spread for the character sheet. Character level, ancestry traits, novice path, expert path, master path. Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, then this is obviously just a guess. Matteo Spirito is Italian for sure? Yeah, that does sound Italian. That sounds more Italian than like if it was Spiros, it'd probably be Greek. So I would guess that this is like, a class, subclass, another subclass type of thing. Like you can choose different things. We have strength, agility, intellect, and will. And seeing this slash through it, I assume it's something similar to Mouse Ritter, where you take damage to your stats. So that's interesting. We'll see if that bears out. Damage, defense, bonus damage, armor and shield, weapons, equipment. Okay. Background description, professions, a bunch of traditions here. I don't know what that is. Talents and spells, allies, equipment. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's like super duper crunchy. Like something like Pathfinder might be. I like this map. I want to look up who did this map. I really like this map. The Borderlands. Like this just sort of looks like a place that I would want to looks like a place I would want to adventure in. And then look, I kind of dig this. Like this is what like old school magazines like Game Informer and Nintendo Power, they would just have like advertisements like in the thing, and I kind of like that because I like seeing other things. If I didn't know this existed, well now I do. That's pretty sweet. I think Kobold Press does something similar. Just cool ideas. Okay. So I'm not going to read through too much of the introduction. Just very briefly, though, in Shadow of the Weird Wizard, you tell stories in a world of high adventure. You explore the borderlands, fight strange monsters, solve mysteries, uncover secrets, interact with others. Okay, cool. People flee the chaos of the old country, seeking refuge wherever they might find it. For centuries, the Weird Wizard cast a shadow from the east. His mere presence His mere presence deterrent enough to keep explorers and settlers from venturing too far beyond the borderlands that stood between the so-called new lands and those of the Enlightenment, culture, law, and order. Some saw him as a mad sorcerer who commanded eldritch powers of stagger might. And then I think this is the wizard himself. He does indeed look weird. He's got 2 attack cats down here. So is Weird Wizard a 5e derivative like TOV? No, not at all. I don't think so. I don't think this is 5e related at all. This is its own thing. It is based off of Shadow the Demon Lord, which I don't know much about. So that's why we're reading. So all of this background stuff, I'm really looking more for the mechanical things. You need a character to play. You decide the character you want to play. It takes time and experience to adventure to realize their full potential. I do like that. Ooh, that's cool. He released a super high resolution map. You can snip out pieces and zoom in. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so cool introduction. Interesting looking art. Your character has a level, which approximates how powerful you are. Normally you start the game at level 1, but the sage might start the game at a high level. Oh, interesting. For the sage informs... Okay, so the sage, I guess, is the game master, or the dungeon master. So I thought like the sage was like one of the classes. Okay, so I have to translate everything in my head to to 5e. Ancestry. Most people found in the Borderlands belong to the great family of humanity. I like how that's worded. It comes which encompasses people much like those found in our world. Okay, so it's talking to us in our world. It's not like an in-world thing necessarily. Let's tilt that down. It's a little bit bright in my face. Okay. Human ancestry benefits, size 1, speed 5. So something I'm a little bit jealous of, and something that I'd actually like your guys' feedback on in Nimble. Should we go back from... So initially Nimble version 2 was using squares or spaces. So like your speed is 5, you can go like 25 feet is the equivalent. Your speed is 6, the range is 10. Like that, like if you're counting squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is much easier to count than like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I can get an immediate sense if like this much is like 5 squares or 10 squares. It's obviously not 10 squares. Like this is like 5 inches, right? So it's much quicker to do that. And you don't have to worry about like 5 feet squares and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not sure. I do prefer that personally because it's faster and easier. I vacillated on that a little bit. I went back to using feet because to make it more 5e compatible, but it's trivial to change it back to feet if something says 5 squares or 5 spaces or the speed is 5, like that's 25 feet. So it's obvious, but I do prefer that a lot. 100% spaces are best for me, and I've heard other people like in who are outside of America who are saying like like it's weird seeing feet when they use yards or not yards meters, and like do you round it up to 2 meters? Do you round it down to 1 meter? It gets weird. Spaces speed stuff up. Yeah, you guys might convince me tonight to change it back. 15 megabytes for a PNG? No, so the PNG 24 is sort of uncompressed, so PNGs can get quite large. So 15 megs for PNGs is not that large. It's just uncompressed, or essentially uncompressed. It can hold transparency as well. But yeah, that's probably a good chunky size. So yeah, you can find more information about these characters in Chapter 2. Fine note. So this is like a really light, very thin font size. And let's just compare the font size here. Okay, roughly the same. This is a bit more of a condensed font, but roughly the same. Roughly the same. A cut above, human only. You have certain advantages that set you apart from other people. These advantages can source from a special training, a knack, a destiny, or something that happened during upbringing. You can increase the scores of 2 different attributes by 1 each. See other ancestries, bottom right. bottom right. Oh, down here. Okay. So I'm learning a lot about this game. So rather than just the mechanics, we have a cool name, a cut above, and then it describes like why you get this. So in Nimble, it's like a cool evocative name, and then just the mechanic to save space, to save time. You know, the name should describe the mechanics, but I do kind of like how this has the narrative in it. Like, yeah, you have certain advantages, a knack, a destiny, or whatever. So it helps you explain why. It does help you explain why. So this is very much human centric. So if we go down to other ancestries, the sage might allow other ancestries for use in game, such as dwarves, elves, goblins, and clockworks. Ooh, clockworks, that's cool. Along with many others, simple rules for these ancestries appear in the Secrets of the Weird Wizard rulebook. Okay. So this then it is like the expansion pack, I guess, is how you can think of it, or at least include some of the expansion materials. Weird Ancestries, a sample for the game, reveals 30 different peoples, expanding on the options. Okay, so that's cool. So default, you're human. So you don't really pick your ancestry, but optionally, if you have this other book, if your GM lets you, you can pick another ancestry. Your profession, I assume that this is your class. Edward is going to try for abstract movement in his games. I feel like abstract movement is cool for the right table, but I personally I think I lose a little bit too much in the tactics area. So if you know, it's really cool to have like just enough movement to get there, or like you're just short by like one space, and like it makes it makes the decisions matter a little bit more, rather than like, oh, you're close enough, just go ahead, you're next to it, which sometimes can be fine. But I like to reward people like, I moved this far on purpose so that when this happens, that happens, and like you can sort of reward the tactics a little bit more. It's not like overly complex or fiddly, but it rewards like being in this space versus that space. It's sort of like chess. Like if your knight is in this space instead of that space, like you might win. Whereas if it was in that space, like you might lose. Like, you know, chess is a very tactical sort of game. So I like that. I like that sort of ability, that simple tactics that you can add. In WWN, what is WWN? What is WWN? It's gonna be obvious once someone says it. Everyone gets a feat at level 1. Worlds without number. Okay. That's another big chunky book. I think it's twice as thick as this one. Everyone gets a feat at level 1, and races are a feat. Yeah, that's essentially what they are in most. Like you get a small little bonus per feat. I feel like when a game uses spaces, even when specifically saying a space is X feet, it's really punishing for a tactical map. It takes me out of immersion because it's more gamified. I don't know. I mean, it's good to hear both sides. So, Greg, appreciate that feedback. Terry, my experience, the abstract movement is great for a theater of the mind. When you end up converting things, sort of when you go to yeah. As far as introducing new players to RPGs goes, however, I think attaching a real world measurement to actual grid helps clarify. Yeah, so I would just say like a space is like 5 feet or 2 meters or something, or like a meter or whatever it is. But like just in terms of like grokking like 60 feet versus how many squares would that be? Like it's way easier to see it to just tell at a glance, is this guy within 10 squares of me, than if he's within like I don't even know like how many feet that would be. 10 times 5, like 50 feet. So it's easier to play at the table. Okay, so let's see. Advancement, level 1, gain the benefits of your... So I wonder why this font is used here, and then this very, very light font is used here. It's a little bit difficult to read, but I mean, it's fine. Gain a level 1 benefit from your novice path. So 1 through 10. Okay, interesting. So levels 1 through 10. So level 1 is novice. 3, choose an expert path. Level 4, expert path. Level 5, novice path. Level 6, expert. Level 7. Okay, level 7, choose a master path. Master path, expert path. Okay, that's interesting. So there's only 10 levels. It looks like there's only 10 levels, which is cool. I would prefer that over 20 levels. But narratively, I feel like having 20 levels is cool. Because, like, you know, an Archlich is like, you know, 20th level or whatever. And that kind of thing is pretty sweet. There's professions, categories. Okay, let's keep going. Equipment. You begin the game with equipment you need to undertake your first quest. The following items provide you a mix of standard items plus items you choose. So the equipment table and the starting equipment page in Nimble definitely needs to be overhauled. So we'll see what's cool here. If you prefer, you can forego the starting equipment presented here and instead start the game with 2 gold pieces. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm getting a sense of the economy already. 2 gold pieces is not much. In like 5e terms at least. You can use those funds to purchase items from those presented in Chapter 3. Okay. You have a set of normal clothes. You have a dagger. You have a backpack, water skin, provisions, 5 torches, and a tinderbox. Okay, so torches matter, provisions matter. I'm learning a lot about this game just, you know, already. You start the game as an adult. Cool. Personal effects. All right. So we don't need to look at all of the distinctive features and all that kind of stuff. Background, identity, personality. So all the role-playing stuff is fine. Some pretty cool art. That guy's interesting. I like his like noggin tattoos. He looks like he's up to some shenanigans. What is that? Is that like a curved sword and a scabbard? Novice paths. Creating a character involves making one big choice. Oh, well, I can read it here on the screen. Your novice path and a few smaller choices related to your path. At the start, you choose one of 4 novice paths, each of which represents one of the great archetypes of fantasy heroes. A novice path table offers a description for each path. Begin at level 1, etc. Okay. So there's 4 classes. There's 4, I guess, probably base classes. There's a fighter, a skilled combatant trained in the use of all weaponry. Mage, a dedicated spellcaster with access to a wide range of different spells. Let me see if I can make this a little bit wider so I can read it more better. If I can read it, that means you guys can read it. There's a priest, a sworn servant of one or more gods, a rogue, a devious adventurer who relies on cunning, skill, and luck. Okay, that's pretty cool. So we have the 4 main archetypes. Attributes. Oh no, we've got modifiers. Your path presents a set of scores and modifiers to place in your 4 attributes. Okay, so I was incorrect apparently. I was incorrect. This is so on the character sheet. This is the score and the modifier. I think is what's going on. You create your own set of scores by starting with the following: 12, 11, 10, and 10. I do like 4 stats. I think that's better than 6 stats. You can increase one score by 1 and reduce a different score by 1. Okay, that's interesting. You can make this adjustment twice. Oh, interesting. So you can go 14, 11, 10, 8. When you finish, assign 1 score to each attribute until you have assigned all 4 scores. So that's a cool way to do it, rather than like picking 3 or amongst different like stat arrays. You can just, here it is, and you can do this twice if you want to. Go again. I own the PDF of this book and really need to sit down and read through it sometime. So many games. Yeah, I've got so back here. I can't do it when the camera's. So I've got a bunch of books up here, and my desk over here is like full of a bunch of books, and so. Make strength your high score if you want to be durable and excel at hand combat. Make agility, strength, agility, intellect, will. If you want to be light on your feet, nimble. Look at that, nimble. I love the shout out, Rob. And skilled at fighting with ranged weapons. Intellect, if you want to be clever, know many things, make use of magic. Will, if you want to be brave, bold, charismatic, and resolved. That's interesting. So will has to do with bravery, boldness, charisma, and resolve, whatever that is. Will is also important for casting certain spells. Okay. So there's 2 different. Okay, so we've got natural defense, health, language, traditions. Okay, so let's look at the fighter. Extension training prepares you for... So I do kind of like having the classes, like how to build the class before like what all the stats and everything mean, like how to play. I do kind of like that. Maybe we'll make that change for Nimble. Great game. I just picked up the Tenaries campaign setting, but where's Tenaries from? I've heard of that before. What is Tenaries from? Is that like what company is doing that? Was that just a Kickstarter? I started reading that during lunch, but I still have Crown and Skull sitting next to my bed in hard copy. Cool. Yeah, I backed this Kickstarter a long time ago, and I got a lot of the PDF, download the PDF and stuff, and like I don't really like reading PDFs. Our GM isn't sure why they like Crown and Skull so much. I've never heard of Crown and Skull. We'll have to look that up later. Okay, you rely on weapon attacks to overwhelm your foes. So we have strength, agility. Okay, cool. Battle training. You've learned so this font is just a little bit challenging to read, being so thin. You learn everything about fighting from the battlefield. You've seen enough combat to know how to survive. Okay, so that's I think that's just flavor stuff. Well, let's keep going. Natural defense 10, health 16. Okay, combat training. You ignore the requirements for wearing armor and using weapons. You roll an attack with 1 boon. Is that an advantage, maybe? When you get a critical success on a roll to attack, you can roll the damage an additional time and use the highest one. Okay, so your crits are rolled with advantage. You can use an action or a reaction when you are harmed to heal half your damage total and impose 1 bane on the roll to attack you until the start of next turn. That's pretty cool. So even though I don't know how this game works exactly, boon is a d6. Okay, boon is d6, advantage with d6. So boon is plus d6, bane is minus d6. That's pretty cool. I think that's something that Indestructible Terran is doing with Vagabond. It's not advantage. It's d6 instead of advantage. That I think mathematically it does essentially the same thing. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I have to like map it out to see like how the curve looks different. But having it be like an additional mathematical operation, I think makes it take just slightly longer. So rolling, where's my dice? It's like rolling 2d20, 13. Like I don't have to do any math. Like this is just higher. But rolling this, so 5 plus 4, so that's 9. So it doesn't take long, but it is a mathematical operation, right? So like I can tell immediately this is higher, whereas this I have to add it up. And again, it doesn't take long, so it's not a big deal, but just going with like one is higher and the other is lower, like the advantage disadvantage, I think is a little bit more elegant, unless there's some other mechanics that are attached to this die, like double your boon die, or like roll 2 boons, or like something like that kind of thing. I like then this might be pretty cool. And if I don't know if you can tell, but my dice are like a little bit crooked and wonky. Some people take longer than others. Yeah, like 17 plus 6. Like, so 20 plus 6 is easy, obviously. But like if you have 14 minus 5, or 14 minus, like some of these weird numbers, like 19 minus 6, like that'll take, like some of these combinations will just take an extra beat sometimes. So one is like not better than the other, but like under normal circumstances, unless this matters for some other mechanical thing, this will tend to be faster. But if you need the ability to roll higher than 20, then this is better, like for the math of your game. So just interesting observations. If you have 3 boons, you roll 3d6 and add the highest. Okay, so I'd have to math out like how having like like 3 boons, so is like which is more reliably good, like rolling 3 d20s and taking the highest, So 11 versus rolling like 3d6. Like I don't know what that curve looks like, and it might be really cool, like what it does, like the difference between rolling like 2d6 versus like 1d12. Like yeah, they add up to the same numbers roughly, but this curve, the d12 curve is flat, and then this is a bell curve, which is really nice. It does cool things. It skews the results towards 7, but this is like each result it has an equal outcome. So even though math, dice, and probability is a lot of times very, very unintuitive. Okay, so let's see. They get combat training. They can do cool things. They get recovery. Level 2 fighter, health +6. So it's kind of cool. You like, I just gained 6 health rather than like a hit die, because like I think hit dice are an arcane gameism, you know. Like if you're used to 5e, like you know what they are, it's obvious what they do, but like learning what a hit die is, it doesn't make sense. It is definitely. Have outgun adventure. Oh, how's outgunned? I saw that on Backer Kid a while back. Is that the one you're talking about? Electric state, gods. Man, I've never even heard of most of those. I don't think you roll advantage with the boon. You just get to add the d6 to your normal roll for a boon. Yeah, outgun looks cool. I like that style of like art and stuff that was in there. Let's keep going. So, fighting style, you favor a particular fighting style, choose one of the following benefits. So I do like that level 1 is simple, and that level 2, after you've gotten some experience, and since there's only 10 levels, 10 levels, wherever it is, I assume you would level up relatively slower than 5e, but I do like that it's only once you got some experience with a game that now I can start choosing different things. Like, I don't like how much damage I took, so maybe I'm gonna pick whichever one, like, lets me like have a shield, you know, or like lets me be more defensive, or like I really like the big weapons, or like whatever all of these different things are. Increase your natural defense by 2 and your health score by 10. Yeah, like some people they just want to be able to be more beefy, more tanky. Back to Outgoing Adventure at full. I love it, but it'll be ages before I get to play it. Yeah. So level 1, level 2, level 5. Why does it go up to level 5? Is this so that doesn't make sense. Let's go back to here. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay, so level 3, you choose an expert path. So what I would like to see here, not that it can be changed, what I would like to see here is maybe like the reminder of like level 3, level 4, choose your expert path, and then level 5, you get this. You know, you get 3 different classes. Okay, so that's cool. Mage. Oh, the priest has art, but the mage doesn't. Does the fighter have art? No, the fighter doesn't have art. I mean, like the layout is a fickle master. You know, you only have so much space you can put. So I guess that the priest is a more simple class, I guess. You learn real magic, not tricks and misdirection. I like that. From your hands, you can release gouts of flame. With a word, you can cross vast distances in an instant. So like, he's clearly a good writer. Like, he's clearly a good writer. I am not that good of a writer. I am much more of a like a spreadsheets and mechanics kind of guy. So for the writing, I can tell good writing, but it's more effortful for me to do the writing from scratch. So I've got a bunch of good word guys helping me. I'm more of an artist, like visual artist and layout and like mechanics kind of thing, like flavor and fun type of stuff. But like the words, like the cool words like that, these are great words. You can call up monsters to fight on your behalf and consult with mind-boggling diabolical beings. Learning magic requires time and energy, forcing you to neglect other areas of potential development. But then, who needs to be good with a sword when you can blast your enemies apart by speaking a few mystical words? Yeah, Rob Schwab. He's a good writer. He's definitely a good writer. So level 1, let's see what a mage gets. Natural defense 8, health 12. So let's just compare. So 8 and 12 versus 10 and 16. Okay, so not a huge difference between the fighter and the mage. I'm sure there's like armor and equipment and stuff that matters as well. Mage implements, you have a wand, amulet token, augment magic. You can produce this effect when you cast a spell or use a magical talent. You roll with 1 boon, and you impose 1 bane on rolls made as a result of casting the spell or using a talent. Okay, so you get like buff or debuff. Mage sense, magical. So do you get... Okay, so traditions 2, spells for novice. Okay, so that's probably like the fire spells, the lightning spells, like what tradition, like what spell school, and then the spells, you get to, how many spells do you know? You can pick 4 novice spells. And then if you don't want to pick, let's just roll to see what our tradition is. We rolled a 2. So our tradition is alchemy or technomancy. Let's pick technomancy. And then 17, technomancy and oneromancy. I've never heard of that. It sounds cool. And then we get, so we get an initial tradition, and then 2 more novice spells. And then level 5, you get an expert spell. Priest, so okay, so you're picking spells as you level up. So let's go to some of the game rules. This is really what I'm interested in. There's only rogue left. Oh, this page feels different. Mage, priest. Let's look at it. Defense 9, health 14. Traditions 2, common in one other language. You can use a reaction when you are a creature within 5 yards. Oh, so the space is not, so the numbers is not just spaces, it's yards instead of feet. Okay, which is fine also. Bring it back to our creator here. I'd like to nimbleize Tolus once I get the V2 physical books. We shall see. Oh man, Tolus. I don't have the Tolus. I think I might have the Tolus like PDFs when it was like on sale one day. I've not looked at it, but I've heard really good things about Tolus. Quite the task. It should be fairly straightforward. Like if it calls for like whatever like check, just change it to like the obvious closest skill check. If it calls for some DC, like it shouldn't take much to nimbleize Dolus at all. Okay, you can use your action when you or a creature within 5 yards of you makes an attribute roll to speak aloud a prayer that grants 1 boon to the roll. Okay, so kind of bardic a little bit. So you can speak a prayer to give someone a boon. After you use this talent, you lose access to it. Luck ends. I wonder what that means. What does it mean to lose access to it? Can I get it back? Holy symbol. You have a symbol of your faith. Once per round, you can expend. And its charge is equal to your level. Okay, I like that. That's a cool mechanic. Once per round, you can expend 1 charge from the symbol each time you use it to invoke one of the following effects. Okay, so you can smite when your roll to attack results in a success. You can deal an extra 3d6 damage. So apparently there is an attack roll and then a damage roll. So very much 5e in that regard. Many systems are eliminating one or the other now. They're going to for only the attack roll. So the attack roll determines the damage. There's a few systems like that. Or it's like attacks just hit, you just roll damage. I think of the two, I think the damage roll is the more exciting roll rather than the attack roll. So if you want both, like that's fine, and you can do. It gives you more levers to pull in terms of mechanics, but obviously with Nimble we don't have that. We've eliminated the attack roll. Okay, so let's quickly look at Rogue. What's cool about Rogue? Defense 11, health 14. So 11, 14. Okay, so the Rogue can cunning dodge. Whenever you dodge, increase the number of boons granted to your agility roll by 1 with a number of banes. So you dodge. Interesting. Trigger, you can use the talent to make an attribute roll with 1 boon. So an attribute roll, I assume that's sort of like a skill check. There's just a lot to those books. No. I get it. I would. When you use the talent in combat, you lose access to it until the start of your next turn. If you use this talent outside of rounds, you lose access to it for 1 minute. Okay, that's kind of cool. So like a semi recharge. You could use it like when you're adventuring, like every minute or so. So you're not like doing it every single time. That's fine. Health +4. What was the mage? The mage is health +2. The priest is health +4. And then the fighter was +6, I think, right? +6 health. Okay. Ooh, combat opportunist. That looked cool. When you get a success on any roll in combat, you can use this talent to either move up to half your speed or cause one enemy in your reach to take d6 damage. You have the slippery trait. I like that name. Slippery is a cool name. And trait if you have the slippery trait if and while you move from using this talent. Once you use this talent, you lose access to it. You have the slippery trait if and while you move from using. So if you move from this talent and while you move, that's weird. That is probably grammatically correct, but I don't understand it. It took me a few times to read it. I love it. The same year I've backed Nimble and Broken Empires. One goes more rulite and the other more sim. What is location on the attack roll? Broken Empires. I've never heard of that. How is that, Greg? How is that? Was that like a Kickstarter campaign or something? Maybe I should start looking up some of these. These games sound so cool. You guys are tempting me. Broken Empires. Ooh. Broken Empires. Okay. Broken Empires. San Antonio, Texas. I've never heard of it. Ooh, I like those dice. There was a game that I played. I wouldn't recommend it for various reasons, but there's a game. It was a board game that I played a long time ago called Kingdom Death, and they had dice similar to that, where like you would roll like what location you were hit in, and that was a rough game to try and play. It was cool. It was really cool the first time, but just jumped over to see how things are going. Big fan, all in support of me. Hey, Agile Monk, thanks for coming in and hanging out. Broken Empire looks cool, but I wish it was a little bit more rules like, just a tiny bit. All right, yeah, we don't need to be getting sidetracked too much. All right, so we're looking at Shadow of the Weird Wizard. We just went through the classes and some of the or the professions, or I don't know, the classes. And now we're just getting into game rules. I think once we get just a brief overview of the game rules, we'll move on. We'll start Beast of the Game. Yeah, I ended up just throwing it out. It's a little bit too spicy for me, but like after I played it with one of my buddies like 2 or 3 times, I couldn't see myself playing it ever again. Couldn't see myself playing it ever again. I do have one of the like big dragon minis up there, and he's pretty sweet. All attributes. All characters, most creatures, and some objects use a set of 4 attributes to describe their basic capabilities: strength, agility, intellect, and will. Each attribute has a score number from 1 to 20 that measures how adept the creature is at performing it. Typical person has 10 in each attribute. A higher score indicates the external ability, while lower, okay. The score also determines the attribute modifier. I don't like that. Which is always equal to the score minus 10. Okay, so it is at least easier. It's easier. It's way easier than D&D's, what is it? Subtract 2, divide by 2, or I don't even remember what it is anymore. Subtract, divide by 2, and subtract 5. What is it in D&D to figure out your derived, the modifier? Here to see your thoughts on Shadow of the Weird Wizard. Cool. Broken Empire is losing me on the amount of time the defender has to roll. It rolls to defend, then you subtract armor, then you check hit location, then resolving maneuvers, then roll an injury. Oof. I do like 4 attributes. That's very good. Boil down. Yeah, I do like 4 attributes. Strength, agility, int, and will. What is it in Nimble? Strength. Am I dumb? What is it? What is it in the? I know we got rid of one of them. Strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Yeah, so combining wisdom and charisma would be a pretty cool thing to do. Yeah. Combining wisdom and charisma, and I like how what is it called? Oh, it's here. Will. It's just called a will. So I do like that. That makes sense. It's your confidence to manipulate your emotions or terrify your willpower resolve. So that does make sense. Combining wisdom and charisma. Would that would probably skew the skills a bit too much? Yeah, I know it's the same thing in D&D. I just I forgot. I forgot which 6 were in D&D. Also, attribute scores are important in the game. Okay, so that's cool. So if the big number matters, then it's cool. But if in like D&D it doesn't matter, then it's terrible. It's annoying. If it's easy to calculate, just whatever it is, -10. Like that's fine. Like 14, I've got a 4. How do you subtract 10 then divide by 2? Subtract 10 then divide by 2. No. No good. Okay, so attribute rolls. When attribute is important for something that you are doing or that it's happening to you, the sage decides or the rules instruct you to make an attribute roll. The result of the roll determines, okay. The rules or the sage will tell you, I like sage. I've never heard that as a term for the GM, the dungeon master. Which attribute and thus which modifier to use for the roll. The attribute modifier is added to your roll to determine the result. Target number. The reason for making an attribute roll determines the reason for making an attribute roll determines the target number. Okay, so like what you're doing is how difficult it is. Normally the target number is 10. If no one resists the effort that warranted making the roll. If you make a roll that is opposed by a creature or object, the target number of the score is the score of the attribute you are rolling against. If you make a roll that is opposed by a creature or object, the target number, so the number you're trying to roll, is the score of the attribute you are rolling against. I don't know what that means yet. If an activity is resisted by multiple targets, such as when you affect more than one enemy at a time, you make one attribute roll per target. Ooh, okay. So you make a bunch of them at a time. Determining outcome. You determine the outcome by following these steps. Roll d20, add the modifier for the appropriate. So if I'm making a strength attribute roll, then we would roll a d20. 5. And my strength is 12. So my attribute is 2. So 7. So it's easy. It's easy enough to do. Hey, Judd. Good to see you. Mr. Kiko, DC of stuff is 10 or the attribute of the adversary. Oh, the attribute of the adversary. Okay. That makes sense. I thought you're comparing that to your like your own stats or something. Then compare the result. You get a success if the result equals or exceeds the target number, or a failure if it doesn't. Okay. Rolls to attack, rolls against. Whenever the rules mention a roll to attack, that means an attribute roll you make to attack a target in combat. If an attack always involves either making an unarmed attack or attacking with a weapon. The target number is the target's defense score unless otherwise stated. Got it. Okay, so over here, so I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding things as I go and not just like reading, just like blasting through. So natural defense is 10. Is everybody's natural defense? So his is 10. The mage's is 8. So a monster has to get a total of 10 or higher to hit this guy. If I'm understanding correctly. So that's what defense is. So that's the AC, I guess. When the rules mention roll against, the attribute roll is made against the target's defense or specified. Okay, so you can roll against their defense or you can roll against their intellect or agility or will. Okay, so, okay. Boons and Banes. Boon is advantageous. You roll a boon die, d6. At the highest number rolled on any one of the boons. Okay. Yep, so that is what we're saying. Bane is a disadvantageous. Boons and Banes cancel out. Okay. Critical success. Some game effects take effect when you get a critical success. When the result of your roll is 20 or higher and exceeds the target 20 or higher and exceeds the target number by at least 5. Normally, a critical success provides no additional effect without a trait or talent, but the sage can offer an improved outcome with such result. Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, it's not merely a nat 20. It's not merely a nat 20. It's you have to the total, like, so if my attribute is like 12, so if I would add 2 to my strength attacks if I'm like low level. Say I'm a fighter. So if I understand correctly, I 22. So the total has to be 20 or higher and exceed the target number by at least 5. So there's 2 conditions on the critical thing, and it doesn't do anything unless you have a trait or talent or some other thing to make it. So I think I'm understanding that correctly. Ooh, okay, so critical failure, when the result of your roll is 0 or less. Okay, that's interesting. Sometimes the rules or the sage might call for a luck roll to see what happens. A luck roll uses no attribute, so it's just a roll of the d20. Oh, interesting. The target is always 10. Luck ends if... Oh, we got a little bit too much bold there. If you are subject to an effect that has the luck ends notation, you make a luck roll at the end of the round. Ah, okay. If you have multiple luck ends effects affecting you, make a separate luck roll for each effect in any order you choose. If you have a luck ends both or luck ends all effect, you make a single roll. Luck ends both? On a success, the effect ends. On a failure... Oh, okay, so like if you have some condition or so, some bad thing. On a failure, the effect persists until the end of the next round. You repeat the roll. You can end a luck ends effect with a successful use of overcome action. Okay. Jeff takes a dart to the face. Chud, thank you. Yeah, everybody hit that like button. Hit that like button, everybody. Appreciate it, Chud. Reminding everybody to do that. That means if they're making, let's say, a strength attribute roll for some monster, the DC of the check is strength of the monster. Yeah, okay. Thank you for translating that, Nabil. I appreciate that. Also, the attribute scores are important in the game. Certain attacks are compared to your attribute scores. So yeah, that is good to know. That is good to know, Nabil. That's a lot of additional rules tacked onto a crit. It could be. I mean, crits might be like super duper cool. So far it feels crunchier than 5e, or maybe as crunchy as 5e. I'm just sort of like trying to categorize it. You don't have to roll a d20. This is as long as the result. You don't have to roll a 20 as long as the result is 20 or greater. Okay, so if I roll, say, a 15, and my attribute is 5, so I'm just using the d12 as a match. So say my strength attribute is 5, or modifier is 5. So I roll a 20. Yeah, okay. So I roll a 20, and if the DC or the whatever, the check or whatever it's called, is 15 or lower, then it's a crit. So it is kind of cool to be able to crit on like less than a net 20. And if you're like this level 20 or level 10 guy, you're fighting like some little gobbo, like every hit, like everything you do is going to be critical. So like that's cool. So like, is it more steps? Yes. Is it more conditions? Yes. But it opens up design space, and sometimes that kind of thing is cool. Like, just think of like each one of these little things as like an additional little knob that you can tweak, you can spin on your little you think of those big audio engineering boards. They have like a bunch of different like little bits and bobs and knobs and keys. So is it more things to do and more things to resolve? Yes, but it also adds more complexity to it, and more hooks to jump into. Uh-oh, my camera is dying. Let's see, is it not plugged in? It should be plugged in. Might have to switch to. Let's go to here real quick. This one. I'm trying to figure out which camera. Is this one using this camera? No. This one? No. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to figure out. Trying to figure out why my camera is acting up. Why isn't it charging? Oh. Technology, you guys. Right. Hang on. I gotta get my other charger. See you, Edward. All right, I'll figure that out later. Just got my my other charger. I'm trying to plug it in real quick. I'm using my phone as the camera because it's better than my potato camera, my potato webcam. That working? There we go. Put that up there. Let's see if that's working. All right, let's turn this back on. All right, cool. We're cooking now. Not that one. This one. All right, so I feel like I'm starting to understand what's going on. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on? The problem is it was about to turn itself off. Size and reach. Size 1 is equivalent in height to a typical adult human. Oh, size 1, interesting. And the creature occupies a space of 1 yard on each side. A higher score means that... High score means that the creature object is that many times larger than a typical person. So size 3 would indicate something 3 times as tall and wide as a human, or size 1/2 indicates something half. Okay, makes sense. Any object that can normally be gripped with 2 hands counts as size 1/2. With 1 hand, 1/4. With the offhand, 1/8. Okay, that's cool. A creature or object with appendages can reach out of its space a number of yards equal to its size, minimum of 1. Ah, okay. So a size 3 thing has a reach of 3 squares or 3 yards or 3 meters or whatever it is. That's cool. That's clever. Clever. Defense. All creatures and objects have a defense score 0 to 25. Okay, so I do like that there's a cap on it. The creature or object with no way to protect itself from an attack has a defense score of 0. Okay, so if you're sleeping, no defense. Natural defense, that can go up. Health. All creatures have health scores, which represent the maximum amount of damage they can take before becoming incapacitated or destroyed. Okay, so there's incapacitation. Ooh, we'll read that in a second. These other effects can increase or decrease one's health score. Keep track of your normal health score separately from your current health score. Okay, so yeah, current and max, yep. When the rules refer to health, they refer to the creature or object's current health unless they say otherwise. Yeah. So like it is spelled out very, very clear. So the rules in this game are really spelled out very specifically. So like there can be like little or no room for like, you know, rules lawyers, like, you know, well, you know, this and this and this, you know, like Monopoly, it says like go to the nearest, you know, this thing, and like some people try to go backwards instead of like going around the board the way they're supposed to go. Changing your health score can affect your damage total. If your health score drops below your damage total, you reduce your damage total so it equals your current health score. Changing your health score can affect your damage total. Is that how much damage you do? If your health score drops below your damage total, what is damage total? Someone help me out. Nabil, whoever knows what this means, help me out. Causes you to become incapacitated. You reduce your damage total so it equals your current health score, which causes you to be incapacitated if you are. Oh, okay. So if your maximum, if my maximum health is 15, and something reduces my maximum health to 10, then like, is that what it's saying? In this game, health and damage are tracked differently. So it's not talking about. I thought I was understanding it, but I'm not. So I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with this, Rob. If you are incapacitated and your health score increases, your damage total also increases to match the new scores, so you remain incapacitated until you heal damage. Okay, damage describes injury from a harmful effect. You keep a running total of damage accumulated. Your damage total can be as low as 0 or as high as your health score. Damage in excess of your health score is ignored. Okay. Also see page 8 for details on halving damage. When you take damage, you add the amount to your damage total. When you heal damage, you subtract. Okay, so the damage... This is confusing. Changing your health score can affect your damage total. If your health score drops below... So if your maximum hit points... So tell me if this is what it's saying. If your maximum hit points, your health score, drops below your damage total. Okay, so say I've taken 16 damage, right? And my normal maximum hit points is 20. If, say, my maximum hit points is reduced to 12, does that mean that the damage I've taken is also reduced to 12? Is that what that's saying? So for example, my health is 50 and I get an effect that reduces it to 40, which means now I can only accumulate 40 instead of 50 before I get past it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Injured. And yes, there's an example I could read as well. So this isn't a criticism of this, obviously. This is just like me thinking it through for the first time. I would have just as many, if not more, questions about 5e if I were reading through the player's guide on my own for the first time. That is cool art. That is cool art. You're injured if your damage total equals or exceeds half your health score. Okay, so if you're bloodied, so injured is bloodied. Typically, you suffer no effects from being injured, but certain talent spells or other effects used against you might. Okay, so injured equals bloodied. Incapacitated when damage total equals your health score. If I recall, getting dropped lowers your health temporarily. That's why it matters. So when you say it lowers your health, it lowers your maximum hit points. Is that what you're saying? When your damage total equals your health score, you fall prone and become incapacitated. Ooh, okay. Any damage taken in excess of that causing you... Any damage taken in excess of that causing you to become incapacitated is lost. Yeah, you are unconscious for as long as you are incapacitated, okay? Taking damage while incapacitated, if you... so this is unconscious. If you take damage while incapacitated, you instead lose health equal to... Okay, I see. Hey, good luck, Judd. In incapacitated, you stop being incapacitated when your damage total is less than your health. So you have like 2 health bars. You have your maximum hit points, which say is 20. My maximum hit points is 20. And when I take 20 damage, so I take 20 damage. If I take any more, now my maximum hit points is reduced. 15, 7 to 3. So I think I see. If you can stop being incapacitated when your damage total is less than your health score. Thus, any amount of healing can end incapacitated, okay? If you're incapacitated at the end of the round in combat or in a situation using rounds, you lose 1d6 health and make a luck roll. A success, you heal 1 damage. If you're incapacitated at the end of a round, you lose 1d6 health. Oh, so while you're down, you continue to take damage just on your, like you're bleeding out, for instance. But each round, you get to make a luck roll, and it's at the end of the round. At the end of the round, so you do skip your turn if you're at 0 hit points, or if you take in damage, or if you're incapacitated. You know what I'm saying. So you get to it's better than 5e's system of death saves, I think, in that each round you get a chance to get back up. Like, but you have a 50% chance to get back up, if I'm understanding luck rolls and all that correctly. So you have a 50% chance of getting back up, healing a hit point, which is cool. But it does make you skip your turn, which, it makes sense. Death, you die when your health drops to 0. Makes sense. Provided the cause of death does not destroy your body, your remains become an object with a normal health. Okay. Remains of organic material. Okay, so rest. Characters have many ways to heal damage or regain health. They might avail themselves of poultices, elixirs, spells. Resting allows you to heal damage and regain expended resource. If you have an uninterrupted rest for 6 consecutive hours, you heal all damage and regain health equal to 1/10 your normal health score. So that's kind of cool. So we're doing something similar, Nimble, with like hit points and wounds. And yeah, you regain a portion of wounds. You regain all your health, and you regain you heal some of your wounds. Some of your other resources, such as spells or talents, might also be able to replenish them. Rest. Okay, time, rounds, minutes, hours, harmful effects, afflictions, harmful effects, bestow, afflictions, blinded. You cannot see, have line of sight to nothing. You treat all creatures and objects as being invisible. Page 50. Okay, it's coming up. If you want to attack... Oh, that's why it's shaking. Sorry, guys. Do I want to untangle that? Let's untangle it, because I don't like how that keeps shaking. Sorry, just a little bit more shaking. Then it'll all be better. There we go. It's still shaking. Why is it shaking? Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. Still shaking a little bit. I don't know what's going on. Well, I'll try not to shake it. Blinded. You must guess the target's location or some other way, which usually means you make the roll with 3 banes. You cannot make use of reactions that rely on sight. Finally, your speed is halved. Ooh, that's interesting. That's an interesting extra rider on blinded. Your speed is halved. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Ooh, I love that. I really like that. Your speed is halved. You don't want to like run into a wall or something. So you guys tell me if I'm understanding banes correctly. So if I'm blinded, I would attack. So this is how I would attack. So 4, and then I would subtract the highest one from it. Is that how that works? So if I try to make an attack with blinded, TLDR, anything is better than 5 DS saves? Yeah. I think I'd rather die and start rolling a new character instead of spending an afternoon rolling death saves to another for 3-hour combat. Oh. Cool. Okay. So blinded isn't super punishing. It can only hamper you so much. So in Nimble, let's see what blinded is in Nimble. I think it's fairly straightforward. I feel like it should be a little bit more punishing than it is. But you sort of have to strike the balance between... I feel like I've got to strike a balance between like easy to do. Let's go to InDesign. Like it has to be like quick enough to do. So I've been relaying things out. So blinded, can't see attacks against it have disadvantage. Attacks against it have advantage, and its attacks have disadvantage. That's fine. I do like the idea of movement is at half speed. Like that feels correct. Do we need that? I don't know. I don't know if we need that. What do you guys think? Maybe you can't crit. I mean, attacking with disadvantage basically means you can't crit. It essentially means that, like mathematically, like the chances of critting like that are slim. Like if it was a more simulationist type of, if Nimble was more simulationist, then I. So initially, blinded was all attacks miss on anything but a crit. But that overly punished like the large weapons. So I changed it back. But something like melee attacks are made with disadvantage. Ranged attacks are made with like two instances of disadvantage. And I feel like we need a better way to say like 2 instances of disadvantage, like maybe disadvantage 2 might be the way to say that. So ranged attacks are made with disadvantage 2. Melee attacks are made with disadvantage 1. Something like that. And I would probably add like and movement is at half speed or whatever. I don't like that. That would make it feel more real, but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, as they say. But I do like this idea. This is a cool idea. Confused. Ooh, confused as a as a thing is cool. You become unable to make sense of what is happening around you. You cannot use reactions, and you make intellect and will rolls with one bane. Ooh, that's cool. Something where you can't use reactions, so you can't defend yourself. Ooh, I do like that. I do like that. Confused is such a good one. Confused. All right, I'm busting out the highlighter. Busting out the highlighter, you guys. Your speed is halved. That's cool. And 3 banes is like making it just a little bit more punishing. Then we have confused, cannot take reactions, and intellect and will rolls are with disadvantage. That is clever. Controlled. Okay, you fall under control of source of affliction. You take your turn when your controller does. Oh, that's cool. And it decides what you do. Using your traits, talents, and spells, if you have already taken a turn, when you gain this affliction, you take a turn as described during the next round. While controlled, you regard the source of the ally of the affliction as ally. Okay. I think that makes sense. Cursed, you make luck rolls with 1 bane. Deafened, I like cursed as a thing. Main die miss on any odd number. Yeah, that's a little bit too weird. Like if I'm rolling a d12, I don't want an 11 to feel bad. I don't want to hope for a 10 and not an 11. You know. So like one of the biggest weirdnesses of Mouse Ritter is like sometimes you're hoping for a low roll, like a nat 1 is good, and other times you're hoping for a high roll, like a 6 on a damage die is good. It's like sometimes high is good, sometimes low is good. So that's one of the weirdnesses of Mouse Ritter. So I don't want sometimes high to be good, sometimes high to be bad. But missing on a number would it solves the problem of it does solve one problem, but introduces others. Deafened, cannot hear. You cannot make use of reactions that rely on hearing and are not subject to effects that depend on hearing. Okay, that's cool. Love to see game designer looking at other people's designs. I found Nimble right when I got tired of 5e and started homebrewing a system to seem like, hey, cool, great, awesome. You feel the source of affliction, a creature, okay. A space, that's cool. While you have line of sight to the source of your fear, you make attribute rolls with 1 bane, and you grant 1 boon on attribute rolls against you. Okay, so frightened. So frightened in Nimble is disadvantage on rolls while the source is nearby. So I left it intentionally open. What is nearby? Well, it depends. So if there's a spooky monster like right on the other side of this door, I'm still frightened even though it's not within line of sight. So like line of sight to me doesn't make sense. But like spooky monster like right on the other side of this like bed sheet, you're under the covers, it's not like you're still frightened, right? I think moving closer to the source of fear is treated as difficult terrain. So it's going to take me a lot more to move closer to the spooky thing than it is to move away. So I like where Frightened is for Nimble right now. Ooh, on fire. I like that. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Don't read it yet, guys. Held, your speed. Okay, so grappled. Okay, so grappled, impaired. Affects the attribute specified. Okay, so each of your 4 attributes could be impaired. So your strength is impaired, intellect is repaired. You roll with 1 bane, and you roll okay. That's interesting. On fire, an effect that makes you catch fire. You take 1d6 damage at the end of each round until the fire is extinguished. Normally, with a successful luck roll, you can douse the flames with water or smother them with a blanket or similar object. Can you stop, drop, and roll? Creature that drops prone, there we go, before trying to overcome the flames makes a roll with 1 boon. There you go. That's cool. In general, I don't like things that need to be tracked, but on fire is a cool thing. It's just a cool tactical thing. You have to like spend your turn. Like, do you want to like just chance it? The 50% chance the flames just go out. It does feel weird that it just happens on a 50% chance, like unless you're cursed or something. But dropping prone grants you advantage. That's cool. Poison. Do you have been exposed to venom? Okay. So like I know what poison is. I feel like that line is unnecessary, but that is definitely just an opinion. Like for some people, they would love that. You make attribute rolls. So for these kinds of like large sized books, you definitely have the space to just like add the words. For like a much smaller, thinner book, like each word matters. So for me, like having that line, like not only is it like a bunch of words, but it makes this paragraph take up 1 additional line, which for a book that is this size, like half the size of this book, that really matters. And like cutting 1 word or 2 words is like a really, really big deal when you're trying to design a really tight thing. So yeah, what does poison do? You make attribute rolls with Bane. You grant 1 boon on rolls against you. Oh, and you lose health. Oh, interesting. Interesting. And it doesn't say how to heal the poison. Unlike fire. Prone, you're lying on the ground. You can't use your reactions. I feel like there's too many movies. That makes sense, but I feel like there's too many movies where like someone's on the ground and the guy's like going to like hit him with the sword and he rolls out of the way. Like that's your defend. Like you should still be able to use reactions. I think when you're prone. So you should still be able to use reactions when you're prone. But I mean, again, my opinion, that is cool. Like I do, and I don't know what reactions are in this system yet, but it is cool that there's different things that take away your reactions. Confused take away your reactions. Blinded makes your speed half. Prone means you can't use reactions. It makes sense in the fantasy. An argument could be made both ways. You grant 1 boon, impose 1 bane. Okay, you can use your move only to crawl or stand up. Okay, so it takes a full movement to stand up, I guess, I think. If you have fluff text, at least put it in a different paragraph so I know instantly what to skip if I wish to. Yeah, you guys might have seen, like, some magic cards. It's like, this is a good example of a magic card. So trample, okay, and it's keyword, and if you don't know what trample does, it is a description, and then there's this little line here, and then if you feel the ground quake, run. If you hear its bellows, flee. If you see its teeth, it's too late. Awesome text. Like someone cool, like someone really smart, like smarter than me wrote that. But if I want to know what the card does, I look here, I look here, and I look here, right? So I know what to skip. Like this is the art is cool, but like I know what to skip. And then this one, it's all italicized, so I know all of this is flavor text. So that kind of stuff is pretty handy. So again, this one, reach, and then it has some cool flavor text. So that kind of thing is pretty cool, and I think very handy. It'd be hard to do that with like a book or something like this. I guess not. Like maybe you could just italicize. It fell. Maybe you could just like italicize that, perhaps. Green color equals best color. Yeah, I'm a big ramp. I'm a big fan of ramp decks. Like I'm doing nothing, doing nothing. Bam. Big thing. Slowed. Ooh, I like slowed. Your speed drops to 2 if your speed was higher than 2, and you cannot benefit from. Okay. So it doesn't affect your attacks. It just affects how far you can move. Stunned. You cannot use actions, reactions. Your speed jumps 0. Can't benefit. Grant 2 boons. Okay, so you're stunned. Unconscious. Can't use actions, reactions. You receive no information from your senses. So, do you receive information from your senses if you're stunned? So, if I was changing that, I would say same as stunned, but 1 additional boon. I don't know. Asleep, if you're unconscious because you're sleeping naturally, you stop being unconscious when a creature uses an action to shake you, kick you, or do something else to awaken you. Loud noise. Okay, vulnerable. You grant 1 boon on rolls to attack you and on rolls made against your attributes. Weakened, you make strength and agility rolls with a bane. Harm. The game uses harm. Okay, buried. Ugh. When you can buried, you fall prone. Debris covers you. Being buried limits your ability to move. As solid obstacles surround you. Yeah, you're buried. Deprivation, sleep deprivation, fire, poison, transformation. So I'm looking more for other like the different rules. Different rules. Knowledge, profession, senses, sound and hearing, light and vision, obscurement, wind. So it's very like it really tells you how the world works. There's a lot of information about how the world works mechanically. So much more like simulationist so far. Like again, I don't know. I don't know the rules yet, but I'm sort of just getting a sense to it. It's a very detailed type of system. It looks like. Ooh, let's look up searching. I'd love to look up stealth. Let's see if there's a stealth type of thing. First of all, is there an index? Ooh, there it is. Is there stealth? Steal? Steal, no. Is there no stealth? Maybe it's just called something else. I'm an Abzan enjoyer? Abzan. What is Abzan? That's Orzhov is black-white. What is Abzan? I know this. Oh, green-black? Green-black-white. Ooh, I don't love green-black-white. I could do like Mardu, like green, red, black, white, like when I'm feeling a little bit fiddly, or like blue, green, blue, white, or like green, blue, black. Green, blue, black is cool. What is that? I forget what that is. 3. Yeah. no. I know Sudoku combo. I forgot which. Okay, let's keep cooking, guys. Let's keep reading. Searching. A creature or object might be hidden, requiring you to search for it. When you want to find something hidden, you must be specific about where you look. Merely passing in front of a door hidden behind a tapestry will not reveal the door. You must pull aside the tapestry. A door disguised to look like a section of wall might require extensive searching of the area. Okay. And a successful intellect roll or luck roll. So, I kind of like that there's no skills. I like that. That's so like some things are simpler than D&D, some things are more complicated than D&D. Jund is pretty solid. Jund is pretty solid. Like blue-white is like too slow and fiddly for me. Blue-white-green, like all of a sudden, like yeah, now you got some spice. Now you get some spice. A creature or object is hidden from all creatures that do not know its exact location, whether they suspect its presence or not. A hidden creature or object cannot be targeted by effects originating from any source. Okay, can't be targeted. Might be subject to other effects that don't specify targets. Once the creature or object remains hidden until found or something happens in the state, a hidden creature stops being hidden after it attacks, shouts, casts a spell, or does anything else to draw attention to itself. Okay. Ooh, see hide on page 47. Okay, we'll just jump right there because stealth is something that that is good art. That is cool. That's nasty. So stealth is something that I really went back and forth a lot on in Nimble. Hide. You attempt to hide from creatures that lack line of sight to you. Okay, so you do need cover from the creatures. Anything that blocks line of sight enables your attempt. Shadows, darkness, or some sort of cover. Oh, I like the clarification. Make an agility roll. On a success, you become hidden until you are found, or you do something that would reveal you to other creatures. A failure, you do not become hidden. Kylie hides from the guards. Kylie purloined sensitive information from a corrupt merchant and ran off into the city with guards in close pursuit. She ducks through an open door and into a warehouse where she then moves behind some crates. The guards arrive soon after. They suspect she's inside the warehouse, but don't know where exactly, so Kylie's hidden from them. They fan out, search the warehouse. She hears one of the guards approach her, so she sneaks off to some other hiding spot. Sage calls for her to make an agility roll, and she gets a success. So the DC would the DC be 10, or would it be like whatever the guard's like perception is or whatever? Nabil, from my experience, the overall system is much simpler than 5e. I could definitely see that. The character is definitely simpler. I like how the attributes are simpler, where it's like just -10. So if my stat is 12, I know it's 2. I don't have to like do weird things and like, oh, it's 12, so therefore my bonus is 1. And that I like that it uses the attribute, the big number, rather than like it just being an artifact. So if I'd played this before 5e, I probably this is probably a better system than 5e. Not that the 5e designers are bad at all. It's that 5e definitely has a like a history, a legacy that matters a lot to people. So maintaining that legacy is a big design goal. And like Rob Schwab, when he was designing this, he he could do whatever he wants. And I'm sure like some of it was influenced by 5e and other things, like No Man is an Island. Ooh, cool art. I really like the art. And cool borders and stuff too. So no Man is an Island. So we're all sort of get influenced from different things, but vestiges, yeah. Mr. Kiko, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, vestiges, things that are just sort of hanging on. That if the designers like were allowed to, they could probably do some really cool things if there was like an alternate version. But there's definitely danger in splitting the group, splitting the audience. Like this is 5e light, and we're changing, or this is like if D&D like has a 6th edition and they change a lot of things, and a lot of people will hate it. And when you have an audience that big, there's a lot of vitriol, and people can get really upset. And it's probably too much to maintain 2 different versions of the game, so they'd have to Wizards of the Coast would have to pick a lane, and they got bills to pay too. A few minutes later, a guard comes around the corner and sees her crouched behind a crate. She's no longer hidden. Okay, so I like that. If you're in line of sight, you're seen. So no longer hidden from this guard, but remains hidden from all of the guards searching for her until the guard who found her alerts them. Yep. Yeah, so that's very similar, almost exactly the direction that I landed on with Nimble. Let's actually see. Let's take a look. Where's my mouse? There it is. So let's see. Stealth, cover in stealth. A creature mostly obscured from line of sight, behind a tree or larger ally, unknocked over table pour lighting, etc., has cover and imposes disadvantage. A creature completely obscured from view has full cover and cannot typically be targeted by an attack. To hide in combat, you must have cover from the creatures you're attempting to hide from. Ooh, almost exactly. Yeah. Use an action to make a stealth check. If you have full cover, you succeed. Ooh, is that a contradiction? Let's see. So okay, so you need cover from the creatures. So either cover or full cover. So if you have full cover, you just succeed. But it does it cost your action? So we could probably clarify. So you guys tell me if the history makes it hard, but the history also makes it like great. It makes it iconic, like, yeah, we're playing D&D, you know. So it's definitely a double-edged sword. So you guys tell me, is this rule clear enough? So to hide in combat, you must have cover from the creatures you're attempting to hide from, and use an action to make a DC 15 stealth check. If you have full cover, you succeed. So as you read it, do you understand it that having full cover to hide Having full cover, you still need to use an action to hide. Does that read properly? Because that is the intent. So you use an action to make a stealth check, but if you have full cover, you succeed. You don't have to roll, but it still does cost an action. The first attack you make while hidden is made with advantage, and then you're no longer hidden. If this attack kills the enemy and no other enemy saw you, you may remain hidden instead. I feel like that's elegant enough. And then if you try to do shenanigans and stuff, then that. D&D has such a long history that the designers have the monumental task of not only innovating on the system but also not alienating. Yes, exactly. So exactly. So not throwing shade at all. Like they're doing a fantastic job with what they have, with the constraints they have. Really good designers designing all of these things. And everybody also has like different things that they like as well, and that's cool too. Dispositions, cool. Social challenges. Transactions. Ooh, okay. Argument, alliance, coercion, shared language, pantomime. So, like, this is very detailed. I'm finding this to be a very detailed system. Languages. Ooh, common, archaic. I like that. Hand signs. That's cool. I do like that. I think in one of my games, one of my players learned CSL, Common Sign Language, and they would go at the at their players to signal without making noise. I do like that. That's cool. Kingdom, Sylvan, other tongues, secret languages, companions. Ooh, you can acquire companions, additional creatures under control from casting spells, using talents, or hiring people outright. I feel like it's too bright. It's hurting my brain just a little bit. Okay. Hiring people outright, although companions count as separate creatures in play, they function as an extension of your character. Okay, I like that. They take their turns when you do. I like that. And you decide what they do on their turns. When you get a companion from a spell you cast, talent, or item use, the companion can take its turn when it appears. Okay, simple. Easy peasy. Companions' rules explain their movements, other activities. For example, a peasant in your employ can use an action to help rather than make an attack, while you could order a mercenary to climb a wall to gain a vantage point. A typical horse will have a hard time turning a knob on a door. Yes. Wow, that frail scar. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Losing control, combat. So yeah, it's a lot of things are very much spelled out. It's very much spelled out in this game. Combat. Okay, here we go. Moving combat. On each of your turns, a combatant can move and use an action before, after, or during its move. Okay. Each combatant must complete its turn before another can take its turn. That makes sense. Each round, all the combatants under the sage's control each round, all the monsters take their turns first, acting in any order the sage chooses. Oh, interesting. So it's side initiative. How does combat start? Did I miss it? If you guys who know how this works, how does combat start? Combat happens when you or others use violence to deal with a challenge. There's no initiative in the system, so just monsters, the bad guys go first. Okay. It is nice having someone who knows about the system to answer my questions. So thank you, Nabil. Each round, all the combatants under the sage's control take their turns first, acting in any order the sage chooses. So Nabil, can the players like I chopped the guy and the guy is chopped, the guy is stabbed or whatever, and then combat starts? Can they do that? Can they get like a first action if they initiate? Or I swing my sword, and then like all the bad guys go, and then my sword swings. Can you shed any light on that? Each round, players can declare they're taking their turns in the inner door. Once a player does so, the others must wait. If they can't decide, the GM does. Some effects begin or end in a turn. Okay. End of the round. That makes sense. We're just defining turns. So a lot of this is just defining turns. Bad guys go first. The players can spend their reactions to go first. Oh, cool. That's cool. Okay. That's clever. Clever, clever, clever. During a turn of combat, you can move a number of yards equal to your speed. I do like that. I might do that. I might do that. There's got to be some way to spring ambush. An ambush occurs when one side takes the other by surprise. The stage decides when ambush is possible, and it occurs by gauging the awareness of the two sides. If ambush happens, the ambush can take no actions on their first turns. Okay. So I like how this is worded. You can move a number of yards equal to your speed score using a primary mode of locomotion. Yeah, walking, rolling, slithering, or fluttering. Okay, so I don't know that that's needed, but you can move a number of yards equal to your speed score. I do like how that's simple. You can also spend yards of movement to move in special ways. If your speed is 5, you could walk 1 yard over to a wall and then climb 2 yards, advancing 1 yard for every 2. Okay, so climbing, you can climb half as fast as you can run. If you're swimming, gotcha. Some effects let you expend yards of movement or your entire move to do other things. Perform the activity only if you have yards of movement to spend. If an activity requires you to expend or use your move, you do that instead. Okay. So so things are very much spelled out. So not my style, but so clarity level very high. Clarity level is very, very high, but the wordiness level is high as well. So that's interesting. Initiating walking is equivalent. Okay, so climb, crawl, drop prone, fly, jump. Okay, so all of this is about movement. Teleport, swim, mounts, vehicles, obstacles, falling. Let's check out the falling. You fall when you drop distance greater than your height at the end of your first turn. Okay, so that's cool. So like a size 3 creature can fall further than like a human and not take damage. That's fine. So there's some bits in here that are so incredibly elegant. Let me highlight that too. It's like elegant. It is so a lot of the design I would call elegant, and I'm still just sort of very much piecing things together. At the end of the first turn you fall, you descend 50 yards. You descend another 150 yards. So much more simulationist. Which is fine. It's cool. It's not what I typically go for, but it is real. It feels real. So very, very simulationist. On landing, you lose 1 health for every yard you fell. Again, elegant. On landing, you lose 1 health for every yard you fell. So instead of 1d6 per 10 feet, so in 5e, I'm sure the damage structures are all different and that kind of stuff. But in 5e, if you fall 2 spaces or 2 yards or whatever, you roll a d6, and you might lose 6 health, you might lose 1 health. And that sort of makes sense, because like people can like fall really, really far and like walk away just fine. Or someone could fall like a short distance, like off of a stepladder and die, you know? So this is cool because it's quick and easy and predictable. But I think both are cool. I think both are cool. But I've never seen that before, and I like it. It's elegant. You make a luck roll, losing half as much health on a success. Oh, okay. So we do have a little bit of stuff. So I fall 10 spaces and take 10 damage. Let's see. I take 10 damage. oh no, I take 5 damage. Okay, on critical failure, you lose all your health and die. That's funny. That's funny. If you fall on a liquid surface, you have the amount of health. Squeezing, magic trivial, special movement, burrower. Okay, burrow, climb, fly, hover, insubstantial. Okay, so we have like phasing and stuff. Mount, silent. Movement complications, forced movement. Let's see what the rules for forced movement are. Effect that forces you to move, propels you in the direction and to the distance indicated unless you encounter an obstacle that... It was all wonky. Where were we? If being moved would expose you to peril, such as pushing over the edge of the cliff or into a fire, you can make a luck roll, and its success, you drop prone at the edge of the danger. I feel like that should be like a dex save or something else, you know. Being moved in this way does not enable enemies to make free attacks against you. Okay. Would you campaign 1 to 10 of Shadow of the Demon Lord? Most of the increases ended up being just piling on more dice or damage, so it became a bit of buckets of dice kind of thing. Interesting. What do you mean increases? Oh, from like level 1 to 10? You lose all your health and die. Sounds about right. Yeah, it sounds about right. Critical failure. So what happens if like... So what happens if you're here? So you're here, and there's a bad guy here, and there's like forced movement, and you hit the bad guy. Do you just stop? Do you take damage? Like if you're pushed like 100 feet into a wall, but you're already like next to the wall, do you just stop? You just move 5 feet and you don't, or 1 yard and you just don't move anymore? It's unclear. The adventures are great. Tiny sandbox of exactly right length of openness. Ooh, I want to check out the adventures now. I definitely want to check out the adventures. I've been neck deep in adventure design recently, so that's cool. You're making me want to get into the adventures. Yeah, tell me about force movement. Is there force movement damage, or you just like hit the dude and you stop? Action combat, you use an action to perform an activity that accounts for most of the time and attention in the round. So you get 1 action in the round. Most common tasks that require the use of action presented below. Often the rules mention these tasks in conventional ways as you hinder. When you see or say such expressions, the implications that you're using an action to hinder. So do you get 1 action in combat on your turn? Do you get 1 action? Unclear. Attack. You see attacking. Okay. Cast a spell. You cast a spell. Okay. So it's like see this is a long list of C other things. Defend until the end of your... Okay, so you can defend as an action instead of a reaction. Until the end of your next turn, the first time any creature succeeds on a roll to attack you, make a luck roll. On a success, you turn... I don't know if I like that. You get an action in a move and a triggered action, which is another word for reaction. Okay, so you get action, reaction, and move. Okay. No bonus action type of thing, I hope, right? Find, help, hide, hinder, overcome. Ooh, what's overcome? Some ongoing effect. Okay, so to like reroll a save. Run, triple your speed score. Ooh, that's cool. Stabilize, you tend to 1 person. Steal. If you have 1 hand free, you can attempt to take something from 1 creature within your reach that carries on its person an object you can see, but is not carried by the creature's hands. Make an agility roll. Steal. Okay, these rules for stealing. Throw, toss, talent, use an item, do something else. Reactions. Okay, let's look at reactions. So after reactions, I think we might go on to some of the adventure stuff. The triggered actions in the system are much more impactful. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you, Frank and Nabil, by the way. I appreciate you guys. Reactions. You can use reaction once each round to perform 1 of the following special activities. Each activity describes the... okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Catch, cover, ally. Ooh, I like that. Is that kind of like interpose? When an enemy attacks an ally within reach, you can use a reaction to switch the enemy's target from that. I like that. That's similar to interpose. I didn't know that kind of thing was in here. But so they have to be like next to you though, right? If I'm understanding correctly. Extra effort. So you can use a reaction. Okay, so some things might cost your action and reaction. Dodge. Oh, here we go. When creature attacks you, something rolls against your agility, or you can use reaction to impose one bane on the roll, or one roll with one boon, or roll with one boon. Okay, so let me ask you guys who know. I very much prefer less simulation-y systems. I'm very proud of my only few pages of rules. Me RN, do you have your own system that you've made? So let me ask you guys who know something about this system a little bit. How armor works. So if we go back to like the fighter, he can wear armor and stuff, right? So is it like if you take 11 damage, you have 5 armor, do you subtract it? Is it that kind of thing? Free attack, if an enemy willingly moves. Okay, opportunity attack. Take the initiative. If you're aware of your enemies with new round starts, you can use a reaction to take initiative, which lets you take your turn immediately before your enemies take theirs. So instead of your... Okay, so you guys can go first. Okay, that's clever. Clever. Okay, so elegant, clever. Yeah, so there's definitely some cool things in here. Take the initiative. I'm just going to highlight this part. That's cool. And let's highlight it a little bit more straight. There we go. Currently running my own system. It's never been public. Cool. I mean, if you want to share it with me, I'd take a look. Withstand. When a creature rolls against your strength, you use your action to pay. Okay, so you can like do different things to attack. Provides weapons, resolving attacks. Step 1. Choose a target. Attribute roll. Make an attribute roll. Excuse me. So you roll the d20. So I feel like it should say like roll a d20. Add your thing. I guess that's what an attribute roll is, though. If the result of your roll is a success, armor replaces / boosts your defense score. I see. Okay, so armor is your AC. So if it hits, it deals full damage, and your armor makes it like not hit. Gotcha. That makes sense. So I assume monsters have AC as well. So you roll your die. Got a 12, so I'm gonna add my 2, so I've got a 14. Then I tell the sage. Yeah, send it over. If you're on Discord, you can shoot it over, or it's Evan, EVAN, at nimblerpg.com if you want to email it to me. Yeah, shoot it over. I'll take a look at it. I might not do a stream about it or whatever, but if it's, especially if it's short, if it's brief rules, yeah, I'll take a look at it. So it's that. So I roll this. So I roll 12, add my 2, so I get a 14. So the DM, the sage tells me if I hit, and then if I do hit, then I roll my dice. Is that how it works? Like just like 5e? So it's very similar to 5e if I'm understanding it correctly. Like there's it's cooler than 5e, is what I would say. It's cooler, more elegant than 5e. A bit more crunchy in certain areas, a bit more customizable so far, what I can tell. But certain things like I like this. I like the reaction thing. Where is it? Where's reactions? Reactions. I like reactions better than like the bonus action and the useless reactions in 5e. Like bonus actions and reactions are largely useless a lot of times in 5e. But like I have all these cool things I could do. Do I want to go first before the bad guys? Well, then I can't. Then I can't dodge. I can't like. That is super cool. I like this. Schwab worked on 5e, and this is how he would have done it. I wish they would have listened to Schwab. He would have made it better. This is the first thing I've ever read of his, and so far I'm really liking it. It's very much 5e, but if I were to play 5e, I would play this over it. So like the super spooky, like gritty, heavy metal, like Shadow of the Demon Lord type of thing is not my flavor. I'm very much more like high fantasy, like this kind of art, like whatever's going on here, than like super duper spooky stuff. I can do like a spooky adventure, a spooky session, like having everything like where is it? Like having everything like this, like Mjorkborg, like it's cool to look at and experience once or twice, but like the incredibly creepy spooky is like it's too much for me. Like I'd love to do a one shot of this, but like this is like too much for me. I prefer like the high fantasy style. I think Mike Shea, his City of Arches book, that is recently got kickstarted. Like it's specifically like I think he specifically says like this is an optimistic, setting, right? And you can like go into different like spooky areas, but like you come back, it is an optimistic fantasy setting. I like that. I like that. Really cool bit is how character classes work. You pick an archetype, an expert subtype, and a master subtype. I've seen just a little bit about that, and I kind of like that. I kind of like it. Common circumstances called shot. Ooh. To an aside, art punk stuff is fun to hold and read, but very poor reference for ongoing play. Is it? Do you just like Paul? Do you just die too quickly? Is that what happens? I like a character that I can like get to know and get used to, and like make my character. Like for me, like after like 2 or 3 sessions is like when we start really getting into the like I know everybody else's character and I'm attached to them and that kind of stuff, rather than like oh I rolled a 1, I die, you know. So for a one shot, that kind of thing is cool, like where I'm not attached to the character or whatever. But I don't want death to come easy. I want it to happen when it makes sense. Like if we really made a bad choice, and we compound it by this and this, and we had bad luck, then yeah, you die. Classes are the gem of the system. Oh man. Schwab worked extensively on 5e. In fact, he pitched the path system instead of the traditional class system, but well, it did not fly, sadly. Well, I'm glad that he's doing his own thing. Like this is really cool. And did he develop this like by himself? The archetype plus expert plus master can be mixed and matched freely. That's interesting. He's definitely got like a big brain. Writing, design, and art direction, Rob J. Schwab. Forward editing. Looks like he did it all. That's cool. They could be mix and match freely. That's pretty cool. Like I do have a soft spot in my heart for like specific classes with a very specific flavor, but like the customizability of different things is still cool also. All right, so let's wrap this up, and then we'll start talking about maybe we'll look at an adventure. I don't mind the low fantasy or gritty play. The layout of the Borg stuff is what makes it clunky at the table. Oh yeah. Like I can't read it. I can't read it. But like that is also what makes a lot of people fall in love with it. It's definitely an art piece. When you attack, you aim for a specific place. Doing so imposes 2 Banes on your roll. Oh, on a success, the target becomes impaired in an attribute of your choice until the end of the next turn. Cool. Surround target. When you make a melee attack against target in the reach of at least 1 ally, you roll with 1 boon. Oh, creatures whose size is more than 2 larger than yours ignore this effect. That's cool. Yeah, you can't surround like a Gigantamax thing. My kids are just watching Pokemon. Pokemon's getting out of control. You know how they have like VMAX and Gigantamax and all sorts of different Ultra Z move things now. When you make a ranged attack, you can target a creature beyond your weapon's range, but no more than twice the range. You roll attack 1 bait. Okay. High ground, because there's different ways to add bonuses and drawbacks, disarm. So there's lots of cool things. Equipment. Let's look at equipment real quick. Did we skip a page? I think a couple of pages stuck together. Where Wizard really polishes the rough edges of Demon Lord from a mechanical standpoint. Yeah, that's cool. Ooh, there's crafting, carrying limits. You carry or wear a number of items equal to your strength score. Yep, that's cool. You hold such items in your hands or by strapping them to your body. You can exceed this limit up to twice your strength, but for every 2 items per limit. Yeah, very simulationist. Your agility score is reduced by 1 until you're no longer overloaded. A few exceptions to this rule: containers, clothing, coins, armor. Okay, so leather, the most common form. What does it do, though? Oh, it's over here. Like, all of this is describing it. I'm looking for what it does. Padded defense 11 or plus 0, 12 or plus 1. Okay, so if your natural defense is like 13, you don't, and you put leather on, it's this. So either or. Again, elegant, clever. And everything is in silver pieces. So I do like how silver pieces are used. I do like that rather than just like, oh, everything is gold pieces. Medium requires strength 11. Male 15, 16. 16 or plus 3, 17. Full plate is 18. And then shields are plus 2. Okay, so yeah, you can get your defense up to 20. Body shield? What is a body shield? Body shield, sometimes called a tower shield, offers total body protection rather than strap it to your arm. You carry the body shield into position and then use an action to place it on the ground to provide a partial or total covering to creatures behind it. Body shield does not, however, increase defense. The body shield counts as 4 items. Yeah, I had something similar to that in an earlier version of Nimble. Okay, let's look quickly at the weapons. So D6, 2d6, 2d6, 2d6. So everything is d6 based. So am I correct? Is it the case that Shadow the Weird Wizard only uses d20, d6s? Is that the case? Range weapons are d6s. Ooh, 6d6. Oh, a musket. That's cool. It requires agility, ammunition, bow, longbow, short bow. Okay, so this has a longer range. It's a light. Okay. Correct. Okay, Nabil, thank you for hanging out, man. I'm really glad. You guys are here. Who knows what's going on? All right, so let's see if there's anything else in this one that we want to look at. Maybe I'll see if the other book has any adventure in it. I feel like I've got a pretty decent idea. It feels very 5e, which I'm surprised by, but sort of pleasantly surprised. Ooh, magic. Chapter 4. So that is page 75. Ooh, spells are mostly 1 use per rest. Some are 3 uses per rest. That's kind of nice. Interesting. So page 75. Let's look at spells. Magic, cool art. Aromancy. Okay, so combining lightning and air. I like that. Ooh, I do like that a lot. Jolt, magical. You can use an action to fling. So aromancy, wind and weather, alchemy, object creation, transformation, alteration. So there's so many. There's so many. Yeah, there's a bunch of spells. Yeah. 3 pages almost of aromancy spells. So there's got to be like, how many spells are there? Wow. 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 Whoa. Skullduggery spells. I like that. Skullduggery. I do like it. Expert. Okay, so how many? Check a expert. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, sure. So there are war spells. That's cool. So are the spells sort of like similar to abilities as well? Like if I pick a fighter, can like as like my next subclass or whatever, can I can pick some spells and stuff. In that case, like if these are the spells and the abilities, but that is a lot. That is a lot. And for me, like my opinion, this is not like a good thing or bad thing. Let me show you guys what I've been doing with these. So I've recently so initially the spells were so like the necrotic spells were laid out in one spread, but what I'm doing now is I was able to get it down to just one page. So like all the radiant spells fit on one half of one page. All the wind spells fit on the other half. So I like that. So all the spells take up 3 small pages. So all of the spells in Nimble, take up this much space. Less so this space and this space. Lots, but you can only choose from a handful of schools based on your concept. I like that. So it's less to sort through, and I do like that. So again, like 5e but better is how I would describe this. Not as complicated as Pathfinder. It looks like Pathfinder is definitely a direction I don't want to go, like too crunchy. So I would say this is definitely like a few steps in the direction of 5e that I like. It's more complicated than I prefer ideally, but if I wanted like a crunchier system, I would probably run this before I would run Pathfinder. Again, not that one is better or worse. It's just what. Hey Bruno. Hey Bruno. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. If I'm not mistaken, Weird Wizard has 33 traditions. Demon Lord has 42, not including some mini traditions. Wow. Okay. So he boiled it down a lot. Like just like the amount of creativity that has to go into like making these is like is amazing. So like this book is a feat of engineering. So these are Aromancy talents, novice spells, castings 1. Okay, so you can cast this once per rest or once per long rest. Are there so how is this isn't really that crunchy. It's really easy to deal with an actual play, almost a throwback to ADD. Okay, that's cool. It doesn't feel very crunchy. It just feels because like there's not like 30 skills and there's all these points and this and that. Basically, like a few different ways to give like there's D20 rolls and a bunch of different ways I can choose to add Banes and Boons. It's elegant, is what I would say. So maybe crunchy isn't the right word. I would say the rules are verbose. Maybe not verbose. The rules are I don't know, wordy. It is wordier than I would prefer to read, but there is a certain level of clarity that comes with that. But it's cool to know that it's not really that crunchy. It's cool. Again, not that that's bad. It's just like some people prefer that, some people don't. So so how do rests work? Like say we're in a dungeon, can the team just like close the door and take a nap and get their castings of this back, or is it similar to Nimble where you have to go back to town, you have to really rest in a safe place that the GM specifies? So how does that work? Every level in a caster class gives +1 spell known in tradition and the spell tells you how many castings it has. No big table stick. That's cool. The advantage of this system is that once you get past some of the more arcane language, the game feels light in practice. Oh, okay. So yeah, just personally, like my opinion wise, which is worth nothing, I wish the writing were a little bit more concise. But again, there are advantages with the language being much more specific. But I would just prefer personally. So yeah, how does resting work? Castings 1 target one size 5 space within 5 yards. What does that mean? One size 5 space within 15 yards. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Granted, I skipped most of the book, so. A 5-yard cube. Ah, gotcha. Okay, so now that makes sense. Thunder booms. Each creature in the space takes 1d6 damage. Thunder booms. The description text. Thunder booms. Each object in it takes, so creatures take 1d6, objects take 3d6. A creature also makes a strength roll. On a failure, the creature takes an extra 2d6 damage and becomes deafened. The noise of the spell carries 1 mile. Rest is uninterrupted rest for 6 hours. So probably, okay, 5e style long rest. There's no short rest and long rest. I like that. You only have rest, which requires 6 hours uninterrupted well rest. Okay. So they could like cast this and post up, put a door against a chair against the door and take a nap. So am I right in assuming that when I cast this spell, I don't roll a d20 to see if it hits? Like this is like a save spell, right? So in 5e terminology, this would be like a save spell. Forked lightning. So I'm not rolling to attack this. I'm not rolling to attack. They're rolling to avoid it. For each target, separately make a will roll. Again, oh no, I'm making the will roll against their agility. So I'm making 2 different attacks. Correct. Okay. Okay. So those are the spells. Chronomancy spells. Ooh, create paradox. We cast a spell, and again at the start of each of your turns, choose 3 different numbers between 1 and 20. So that on the second round, you have chosen 6 numbers, 9 numbers. Okay. When a creature in the target space makes an attribute roll or luck roll, and the number rolled on the die matches the number you have chosen, discard the number discard the number you chose, and the target is removed from time until the spell ends. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. The target is removed from time until the spell ends. A creature so removed does nothing. When the spell ends, roll a d6 for each creature. So, complicated spell. There's some things going on, but it is cool. It is really cool. How many rounds does combat last in this game? Is it like 2, 3, 4 rounds? Is it like 10 rounds? Like if you only get like 2 rounds or 3 rounds, like this kind of complicated noodly spell could be fine. But if I'm expected to have like this level of complication, and I see that this is an expert one, so it's not like a low level spell. If I'm expected to like endure that level of complication, over like 10 rounds, like that's gonna be a lot to track. But like I love create paradox. It is so cool. Remove them from time, so cool. Brilliant ideas. Bottom page 103. Part bone from flesh. That sounds cool. Castings 1. 1 size 1 flesh and blood creature within 5 yards. Duration instantaneous. Ooh, this is an expert dark arts spell. All right, so I'm expecting. Yeah, here we go. There's the tentacles. Does every spell school have? It doesn't. Not every spell school has. Oh no, it does. Does every spell school have an art? Destruction. Okay, let's read it. Let's read it. Part bone from flesh. I might say like rend bone from flesh or something like that, because part makes me think of like a parts of a thing, or like you part your hair. The bones in a target's body begin moving around. Bones move. That's fine, right? That's fine. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. The target takes 6d6 damage, then make a will roll against the target's strength. Okay, so you would roll a d20. So 16, I would add my 2 to that, so 18. So if their strength is 18 or less, On a success, the target takes an extra 6d6 damage. On a critical success, the target takes an extra 12d6 damage instead. If the damage incapacitates the target, it dies. And at the end of the round, an animated skeleton, the target size, pulls itself free from the corpse and stands up. The animated skeleton is a creature under the sage's control and treats all other creatures as enemies. The sage has rules for the animated skeleton. Oh, too cool. Too cool. Like, I really, really like that. I really like that. What a cool spell. What a cool spell. A lot of steps involved, a lot of back and forth that'll take a while to resolve. But as far as things that you will remember, as far as things that make a good story to tell later, that is way better than like Chromatic Orb or like whatever other spells are in 5e. That is cool. Rounds per combat, number of rounds 3 to 5, but the advantage I would say is that they went relatively fast in 5e. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I think is there anything similar to like extra attack in Shadow Demon Lord? Ooh, that's like cool art. Cool art. Is there extra attack? So like extra attack, like level 1 combat goes quickly. Level 5, level 10, level 15, like combat starts to really chug when people are making 15 attacks. All right, so I'm gonna pause there with this one. Let's look at. I really want to look at the adventure pretty badly, and I hope there's an adventure in this book. I bought it, not even knowing what's in it. There's not really extra attack, so like you still get your one action to do. So if everybody's only doing one thing, then that's probably fine. HP doesn't go up by that much, like 2 to 3 per level. Ooh, this text is much bigger than the other text. Aid and assistance. Hal Mangold. I'd like to know what Hal Mangold did in this book. GM's Guide, No Adventures. No, are you serious? No. Oh. I'll still look at it. Traps, adhesive floor, alarm trap, Borderlands. Okay, so there's like lore, the bestiary. Let's look at the bestiary. I'd like to see what the monsters look like. Are the monsters as complicated as 5e? Page 95. Like, this is cool art. I wish it wasn't so small. I wish my camera could focus better too. Like, look at that art. Look at that art. That deserves like a whole splash page, I think. Bestiary rules. Rated size of speed. All right, let's look at. So what is I'm super sad about not being an adventure. If I'm not mistaken, the way extra attack is handled is that as you're leveling up, you get to deal more damage and get a special feature to direct that extra damage to an adjacent creature as long. Okay, that's cooler than having to like roll the d20, add the thing, ask the guy, did I hit? Roll the thing, add the thing, ask the GM, roll the d20. So like all of that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If it's all just one, I've got like 66 to sort of divide amongst the different creatures. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Using enemies, combat difficulty. Oh, how does the CR system work? Do you guys know how that works? As your attack roll, as long as your attack roll bested their defense and they're within range. Okay. So, do you know if are there adventures for this already, or is this like a it's coming soon? I assume that there would just be an adventure in here. There should be an adventure in here. Oh, there's a lot of monsters. How is the CR system handled in here? How are combat encounters made? Difficulty by tier. 6 adventures PDF so far from the Kickstarter. Oh, so I probably got them then. 1 novice, 4 expert, 1 master. Oh, okay, so there's different tiers. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. Typical difficulty. So 3 characters. Novice is 3. So each Okay. So that's much easier than 5e. So it's similar to the like the level system that we've got. Let me show you guys. In Nimble, our monsters have a level. So let's say Goblin Taskmaster has a level of 2. Let's go down to where there's like different levels. Gnolls have a level of 1. The Pack Leader has a level 4. Hill Giant level 12. Griffin level 4. So if we have a party of say 5 players and they're level 5, well, all the levels up add up to 25. So I can do 2 Hill Giants and 2 Gnolls. That adds up to 25, right? Or 2 Hill Giants and 1 Gnoll, or 5 Griffins, or what you can combine them in any way that you want, and you can do that for any party size level and all this sort of stuff. So that to me is like a very easy, very intuitive way. This Gnoll is roughly as strong as a level 1 character. This one is roughly as strong as a level 4 character, and it's super easy to make encounters. And also, it's easy to there's this chart if you want to build your own monsters as well. This is how much damage a level 3 creature should do. So that's how we're handling things in Nimble. But I do like this, how easy this is. So let's go to so difficulty tier per scene per character. Yeah, so per character, so 4, 2, 4, 6. There you go. That's easy. And then each one has, so Amphibicena is a difficulty 8. Okay, so chunky stat blocks. So much slimmer than 5e. I like just because there's fewer stats, but there are like defense, health, strength, agility. Okay. Melee attack, quarterstaff agility, +0. So roll your d20, and if you hit, you deal d6 damage. Oh, this is a mage, so like that shouldn't be that great. Flame Blast, magical flame spill from fire mage hands. Target one size 3 space in reach. Each creature and object in the space takes 2d6 damage. Creature makes an agility roll. On failure, the creature takes an extra 1d6 damage and catches fire. The fire mage then loses access to his talent for 1 minute. Okay, so single use. Flame Missile. The fire mage hurls a missile of flame at one creature. Fire mage makes a will. So d20 plus 2 against the target's agility. On a success, the target takes 3d6 damage. Okay. So I feel like I get it. So it's Shadow of the Weird Wizard is quite similar to 5e in the combat, like in running monsters. I feel like I could run this monster easily enough. I have 6 adventures. 2 novice adventures are out currently. Okay. So yeah, I feel like I could run this easily enough. That's cool. Let's see what else might be in here, and maybe if you guys want, we can go over some of the Nimble stuff I've been working on. Bestiary, enemy difficulty appendix, Bestiary, Borderlands, lore, sage advice, deciding, adjusting difficulty, disrupting outcomes, pacing. I'd be interested to hear some of his advice, but ear slugs. Ooh. Cool. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a really cool thing. I recommend you guys check it out. It says it's $60, so each of these books is $60. I think we got a pretty good deal on the Kickstarter. I don't remember what I paid, honestly. It's been like a year or 2, if I recall, but it looks pretty cool. I would definitely recommend checking it out if you guys haven't. If you're into 5e, I would definitely play this over 5e. I'll definitely play it over 5e, and knowing, ooh, my stomach, I'm getting hungry. Let's go real quickly over some of the things that we've been doing with Nimble. My tummy's growling. So and we'll turn that thing off. It's too bright. It's hurting my face. Move that over. I definitely don't see rules for extra attacks. Pretty much 1 attack per round plus a lot of bonus damage. Okay. So what I've been working on is the core rules recently, in the past day or so. So I was able to get stats and skills. So basically the core rules has been boiled down to 3 spreads. So 5 pages. So core rules is this, and again, it's half size. It's half size. These are regular books. So I think I was able to cut like 2 or 4 pages off of this by moving to 2 column and just like trimming here and there and changing things. And I was able to move up a lot of the things from combat as well. So like conditions, concentration, grappling, and all that sort of stuff has been moving up here as well. So we're saving lots and lots of space. We're down to 60 pages, and that's also including like a bunch of pages to just have like full spread art. I was able to get all of the heroic actions on one page and all the reactions on one page, and then we have monsters here as well, since it is important to know how for the players to know how monsters sort of work. We have starting combat. I sort of I'm changing how some of the headings are working. So the combat section is, again, 2 spreads. Super simple. The art just, yes, thank you. This is a beautiful one by Earl Lan. This one is, I think, Eddie York. It's been nice to get to know the artist and see a lot of their cool work. I'm waiting on a few more pieces of art though. So combat has been boiled down, simplified to 2 spreads. Like 1.5 spreads. I'm rounding up. 1.5 spreads. So core rules, 2.5 spreads. Combat, 1.5 spreads. Resting, half a page. And because I have additional space here, I might add the lodging boons here rather than in the GM's guide. Or I might add some more downtime activities, just like a list of like different ideas, like retrain your skills and this and this and this. Yeah. Character creation, I think, is going to receive a pretty big overhaul. So these 2 spreads probably either won't be there or they will change. And I do like having the character creation stuff first. So that's something that's still in flux right now. But we have the common ancestries, human, elf, dwarf, halfling, and gnome. And then, of course, flavors free. You can change things how you like. We have exotic ancestries. We did add like people love their weird races and ancestries and types of creatures. These are the pages I'm still working on layout for. I was able to add some more cool art, some more creepy dudes. We have the races. So like these are very much optional things. So like it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be like super short because like it's optional. If you don't want to read all these things, you can just skip it. So we have 1 spread of backgrounds, 1 half spread of adventuring motivations, and I think this is going to change as well. So this is the character sheet though, like filled in like step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is how you fill in your character sheet. I don't know. I'm still cooking on that. Paul Bibby, impressive layout, very Dion-esque. What is Dion-esque? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Also love Symbaroum and the world. Wow, it just seems such a shame that they converted it to 5e. Symbaroum. I've never heard of that. I've heard of it. I don't know what it is. Love Symbaroum. In future, check Symbaroum. All right, if you guys are all talking about Symbaroum, all right, you're gonna have to make me spin some dollar dues. Oh, Free League. Yeah, I like Free League. I like Free League. Something else I've got from Free League that I want to check out a little bit more closely. I think this is Free League. Is this Free League? Free League, yeah. The Lord of the Rings role-playing game. So I don't have time to learn like the One Ring system, but I do have the 5e version because I can understand it and I don't have to translate it. So we've got the Moria, and the reason I went ahead and splurged on the cloth mat for Nimble for the box set is because like this one comes with like such a cool Moria cloth map that I said, all right, I like maps. Maps are cool. We need a map, so we got a map. If you guys haven't seen this, this is a pretty cool product too that I just got in recently. Maybe I'll do a review of this. Layers and Labyrinths. These are quarter shots. So you guys have heard of one shot, but these are quarter shots. Roads and Ruins, So like if you expect your guys to go to the dungeon, but instead, hey, let's go travel over to this other thing over there. You can just say like, okay, you travel and the travel is uneventful because like secretly you didn't prepare anything to do on the road. You thought they were going to the dungeon, but they did something else. Quarter shot. Roads and ruins. You can open this thing up. You can open this thing up and like it's like a one spread adventure, and you can just run it on the fly. Really cool book. I haven't got a chance to look at them. And then here's like woodlands and waterfalls. Everything's too shiny. So I might do a review about that. But that is Marcus Pascal. Zero prep side quests for any fantasy RPG. I love the idea of these. So I might look into those a little bit more. But yeah, I like Free League. If you guys recommend Symbaroum, drop in magic cards. If you guys recommend Symbaroum, then I'll check it out. Kelsey Dion. Oh, okay. Yeah. Dion-esque. I didn't know she had her own verbs. Adjectives. Honestly, having that character sheet page really close to the front would be nice. Yeah. That one page is key and it seems a bit buried in the back. Yeah. I think I might do that. I might do that. I don't know. Ooh, I'm getting hungry, guys. I'm gonna have to call it quits soon. Let's keep going. So so there are a couple of pages like I have got this big piece of character art, and it really doesn't need to be that big, but I'm still trying to figure out. It probably should be like a quarter page, like splash art, like this. But I don't have any more content. So I'm gonna have to reorganize things. I'm gonna have to reorganize things just a bit to make it make more sense. So like maybe money will be included with equipment since you have to buy equipment with money. Like maybe that makes sense. And then like some of these things can be moved down here or something. So I'm trying to reorganize things in a way that makes sense. So Barm has a. Oh no! What happened? What happened to chat? There you guys are. Symbaroum has a super great world. The system is okay, but it does have a conversion to 5e that's really good. I understand why Free League does their 5e conversions, but I preferred every one of their narrative implementations over 5e version. Yeah, 5e has some problems. Like it's really cool for what it does, and it is the giant whose shoulders I stand on, so I can't complain. But it definitely does have some gripes. I have some gripes with it. So this section of the book is yet in layout. But we got key equipment, healing potions, torches, lanterns, miscellaneous adventure equipment. So again, we need to add some bits and bobs here and there, but we've got magical items. I'm waiting on some more art. We've got spell scrolls and wands, which I like. And then the spells. So again, it used to be this way, and I'm working on changing everything to be like Radiant and Wind. Like changing it to be on one spread instead of spread out across two. And that's where I was as I decided to start streaming. And then this layout was probably going to change as well. And I've been spending a lot of time on the GM guide also. I've been doing a lot of work on monsters, on the legendary monsters are mostly done. I got some cool new art that I'm still working on. In the GM guide, also likewise, there's like one spread on starting as a GM. Rule number 1, when in doubt, rule in favor of the heroes. Rule number 2, let them do cool things. Rule number 3, be honest and trustworthy. So like starting out as GM, it's not that hard. Just like, do this. And then there's some advanced GM tools that you can do if you want. Like once you get a little bit better, some information on running monsters and tuning encounter difficulty and creating your own encounters. Then there's a brief bestiary, and like each one of these monsters, like this is a kobold. This is the stat block for a kobold. Like how easy is that to run? Yeah. And then it's by no means like boring because each one of these they have like a cool ability. Like when an ally within 10 feet dies, attack for free, and they shout no. And then there's like a kobold loot, bandits, and different things. So each one is like super duper flavorful, but really easy to run because one of my biggest frustrations as a DM when I'm DMing 5e is like I never can run the monsters right, especially like boss monsters, leisure monsters, because they're too complicated. They've got too many things going on. I forget, or it takes too long, or I don't run them optimally, or like it takes too much of my headspace that's already like going like eh, the needle's already pegged. I don't need like a whole like 4-page spread of how to this one monster. And I have to study it for half an hour before I can actually run it. Like I want to be able to open up the book. It says 5 goblins. I just want to like run 5 goblins. Just finished your ongoing Forbidden Lands game. Cool, cool. Welcome back, Edward. Forbidden Lands looks pretty cool. I've looked at it just very, very briefly, but I did buy it on the recommendation of Dave Thumb of War. Dragonbane, I've heard good things about Dragonbane. You guys gonna make me buy? You gonna make me buy that? Forbidden Lands gave me hope that there was an equivalent option to 5e for non-superhero fantasy. Book of Beasts is my favorite bestiary in the entire market. I'll have to check out Forbidden Lands. So yeah, Legendary Monsters. I love the Legendary Monsters. One of my biggest gripe about Legendary Monsters, like the end bosses of like big 5e campaigns, is it is narrowly tuned for this exact party size, and it's tuned for 4 players or 5 players. And if you have 3 or 4 or 6, then like it's going to be way too easy or way too hard, and the whole end of the adventure that you've been building up for 6 months or a year is like or the like for me at least I have to do research and like what tweaks do I need to make to this end encounter to make it work for my party. So rather than that, legendary monsters they act after each player's turn, and it's super duper easy. But most of my time has been going toward the adventure. So the first adventure is like 2.5 pages. The second adventure is 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 pages. And then the third adventure, and it's that long because it's made for new GMs. It describes like this is how you roll initiative and this is how you make an attack, that kind of stuff. And then there's the last one. And so most of the time has been going into making the adventure settings for people to be able to like continue the adventure on their own. So here's like the starting town, and the art may not stay. This is temporary art. I don't love this art. Maryvale, the starting town. Then there's Farhope, the big city. In there, like the different factions in the city, the valley surrounding. There's the Elderwild, and this is going to be like another adventure within the Elderwild. And it's going to go here with the Withering Dunes, and I just got the adventure for the Withering Dunes back, so that's going to be on its own spread. So so you guys tell me. You guys tell me what you think about. So currently, the information for each of the locations is like 2.5. It's like 3 pages. I want it to be 2 pages or 4 pages. So should I cut some of this information? I think a lot of like the treasures are not really needed. And I could probably reduce some of the locations a little bit to make it fit on a 2-page spread. And then I can just like put an adventure here, you know. So I'm not sure if I want to cut information or if I want to add more information. It'll make it longer. But this one is already the longest book, and I want it to be shorter rather than longer. So here, this one is a 2-page spread for the information. This art may or may not stay. This is here temporarily. I think I might, if I use it, I might cut her out and like have the banner, like have the banner and stuff like here still, but like the background is so cool. The art style is a bit different, so I don't know if I'm gonna keep this art, but it is pretty sweet. She's the queen of the dwarves. There are suggested NPCs. There already are suggested NPCs in there. So like here's NPCs: Queen, Alethea Stoutheart, Thrain, Axehand, Rena Frostwind, Bane, Bottlebright. So there's NPCs, points of interest, adventure hooks, secret plots, like what things are going on here. There's encounters, like different things you can encounter, and treasures. I think I might cut treasures and cut half of the encounters. I'm not sure. So here's one of the adventures for the Iceforge Mountains, Skyreach Isles, Indestructible Weight. Taryn is working on that. I did a lot of work to the Growling Marshes. Now there's plots. So there's the highlands and the lowlands of the Growling Marshes. And the secret plots are the Bone War. So the lowlands are sort of like the swampy, boggy marshes where the witches live. And the highlands are where the necromancers live, and they're sort of at odds with each other in the Bone Wars. The witches of the lowlands and the necromancers of the highlands have been in bitter rivalry for control over the Growling Marshes for decades. While the witches rely on their natural connection to the land's magic, the necromancers harness death and decay. Both factions constantly sabotage each other's rituals, poisoning the marshes' magic to weaken their enemies. The witches are developing a curse that will cause the undead to rot into nothingness, while the necromancers are experimenting with dark magic to siphon the witches' life force directly into the skeletal armies. And then we have some cool places like the Putrid Tower, where the necromancers hang out. And then the three different factions. So this one is pretty cool. So there's three different factions. The Tower, which is like the mages faction. They are secretly aligned with the necromancers. They want all this spicy information. The Golden Company, they're trying to sort of play both sides since they like the conflict. It keeps them preoccupied. And then the Explorers Guild, they're allied with the witches because they want to do their secret things. Then the Shadow Blight is a new region that we've been working on. We got a spicy new adventure for that from Jack Whale. And then, but we're working on some other things. So that's what we've been working on. A lot of work going into it. A lot of many hours. And I just released the next version of the Heroes book, which has been had a lot of improvements. Okay, guys, it is. I intended this to be a short stream, and it is now 2.5 hours later. So we'll end it there. Thank you all for hanging out so much. Appreciate it, and thank you guys. I'll see you later. End.